How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing very well, thanks. Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
I'm Malika.
Nora.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
I brought you a copy of my resume and cover
Perfect.
letter.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. All right. I trust that you found the room okay. and
Yeah,
everything
I
like that?
did.
Great. Awesome. Okay, well, the purpose of today's interview is to just kind of assess some of your qualifications for the position. Obviously, as you know, the position is the assistant to the director of social media strategy in our company. So I'm just going to go through, I'm going to ask you 4 basic questions, kind of assess your answers about those, and then at the end, I want to make sure that we have time for you to ask any questions that you might have or address any concerns that you might have about the position. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, it sounds wonderful.
Perfect. Great. So, first question, currently our company EdAid is introducing a campaign for a new software we've developed. It's going to be aimed at college freshmen or college entry-level students. I'm interested to know how you would go about marketing this campaign or a strategy that you would have towards that.
So it's let me just clarify that it is a software that is targeted towards college freshmen.
Yes.
And kind of getting them, okay.
Yeah, we're looking to teach that kind of age group a little bit more about conscious consumerism.
Okay, so I think that's definitely something that is going to be important, especially in this day and age, I guess, where technology is such a prevalent thing. So I think the stance I think I would want to take from that is an educational stance where we're, I guess, using actual facts and actual data to kind of get these kids involved, but also a fun standpoint as well, because I know as a freshman, I'm a little bit more preoccupied, or as a freshman, I was a little bit more preoccupied with, you know, the fact that I'm in college and what's kind of going on and things like that. So I think setting up activities and things around that would be really important to kind of get them involved. Also, putting a social media aspect to it, I think would be interesting to see how they respond that way, just because that is a way that kids communicate a lot these days. So if we use, let's say, Twitter as what we market towards, saying, okay, how many people do you think are on Twitter? How much do you think it costs to do this? And taking it as an education standpoint in that sense, but making it relevant to them, I think that would be really interesting.
Great, yeah. And you mentioned using Twitter specifically. Do you have specific ideas for how you would use that platform, or are there any other ones that you would consider using?
I think Twitter is an interesting one to use because unlike, I see Facebook as something that's a little bit of a past generation now, and I think Twitter has an interesting balance between being a business tool as well as a recreational tool, so that's why I chose that one. I personally use it. I did a workshop one time that said that your Twitter should be 70% personal, 30% business, so that people can kind of get an idea and get to know you, but at the same time see you in a professional light, so that's why I chose that avenue.
Great, awesome. All right, the next question, I'm going to give you a hypothetical situation. Theoretically, if you are managing 2 campaigns at once, one is for a high school aged demographic and one is for elementary students, you'd be doing kind of the same general focus, so it is to teach these age groups both conscious consumerism. How would you go about managing both these campaigns at the same time or simultaneously?
I think prioritizing here is going to be key, so looking at what deadlines are going to be due when, but I do have some experience with multitasking, so I think that it'll be one way to kind of hit both out of the park, so to speak, is going to be to draw parallels between the two of them, although you're going to need to use different language when you're talking to high schoolers as opposed to elementary kids. I think kind of bullet pointing the key points that you're talking about and kind of both marketing to both at the same time would be something that I would want to do. And let's see. Yeah, I think prioritizing is going to be key there. I personally would probably spend a little bit more time on the high school education, because I think that age group is going to be where things really are starting to fall into place. Gotcha. And I think that's going to be in line with the morals and the mission of the company, targeting very specific, this is really when this is really when people are developing and getting a conscious state of what right and wrong and consumerism really is. So I'd put more of my time, because it's more informational, into that level. And then with elementary school level kids, it would be, I think, a little bit easier because it's going to be more games and like, how do you think this goes about that? So I think that it would be relatively simple to balance both.
Yeah, all right. And you mentioned obviously the games for your younger kids versus obviously the older students. Are there specific ways that you would market that in terms of software or social media platforms or campaigns, anything like that?
You mean how would I market the event on social media, or how would I use social media?
Yeah, would you use social media? Would you use something different? Does that depend?
I think it would depend on the age group. I think I would use more social media with the older kids, as kids are getting into social media at younger and younger ages, but I think elementary school, they're still kind of going to be figuring out the hang of things. So I think at that age group, it will be important to teach responsible internet use and how to have a responsible presence on social media. And then in the college level, it'll be more, well, you already have it, this is already out there. What can we learn from this?
All right. For the next question, I'm going to give you another hypothetical situation. Say that EdAid is moving to a new social media platform that you've never worked with before. It's not necessarily brand new, but you've just had no experience with it. How would you handle the situation?
Well, I think recognizing that I have no experience with it, for one, is going to be good. And then asking some questions, doing some research. With in my experience with new introductions, when I first got onto Instagram or first got onto Twitter, there are things that I did not know, but there are similarities and parallels that can be drawn with other social media. And what I did is I found the people that I've seen that I liked their Twitters and I liked their Instagrams, and I said, okay, well, what did they do that was really cool, and how can I incorporate that into mine? And I asked them questions. What made you do this? What made you want to do this? I went to a social media production, I guess, that was put on by my university to figure out, okay, what do people want to read on Twitter? How can I make this? How can I get more attention drawn to this? So recognizing that maybe I don't know everything, and then identifying the tools that I have at my disposal in order to learn more is how I would handle that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. All right. The last kind of question that I have prepared for you, in the case of any intra-organizational conflict, so within the company, how would you address the conflict in cooperation with management or with supervisors?
Well, I think that it's human nature to butt heads at times, so it's not something that's necessarily going to be unexpected. At the same time, I think that it's important to be cordial, and empathy is like where I always want to come from. So making sure that if it's something that's small, I come and I'm a direct kind of confrontation kind of person, but making sure I kind of sandwich that with like, hey, you know what? I noticed this is going on. This is how it affects me. How can we move forward from here? And if if that's it, then that's where it ends. If not, bringing in someone of higher authority, saying that this is what's going on, this is how I would like to proceed with this, and then taking their feedback and making sure that there's an open communication line there, because I know sometimes I just get caught up so much in my day and my busyness that I'm more focused on the task at hand than how my interactions with others have went. And I think that's something that if you just take the time to slow down and make others feel you're approachable, that things will kind of smooth over and work themselves out.
Yeah, great. In terms of, you said sometimes you do need to move into that interaction with supervisors or upper management. Do you think there's a better way to approach that interaction, or do you think,
with the manager, is there a better way to approach that interaction?
How would you go about doing that?
Well, I'm a firm believer in giving people a chance first. So, like I said, starting with, hi, I'd like to bring this problem to the table directly with the person, and letting them know, because I like to be open and upfront, hey, I'm not seeing this working. I'm going to go talk to whichever supervisor that would be appropriate, and really making sure that I'm being transparent with them, because I think that's when people get caught off guard, is when you hide things or go and talk to someone without letting them be fully in the loop. So by opening that avenue of communication, I feel like that's saying, hey, this is something I want to fix, not something I'm trying to make a bigger problem or elementary tell on you,
Mhm.
whatever that may be. So I think that's kind of the route I would go, and that's why or how I would involve management, because I think it's important that people are in the know and they feel comfortable enough with me and the situation that they feel they know all sides and I'm not
Yeah.
coming at them from an unknown place.
Yeah, collaborative.
Yeah,
so to speak.
exactly.
Great. All right. Those are the questions that I have prepared for you. I wanted to go ahead and take this time to kind of highlight what I've noticed during the interview. I did appreciate that you did touch on our mission statement and our moral goals for the company. I did appreciate that you came prepared with that. I also just wanted to admire the fact that you did approach the questions from a more collaborative perspective. At EdAid, we're a very team-based company, so we appreciate someone who's willing to work in a team and who has the foresight to know there's going to be conflict, but we're all here to work together towards the same goals. So thank you. Yeah. At this time, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
I don't think I have any questions right now. I really, I did want to compliment you on the depth of your mission statement. I thought it was really interesting.
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah, I thought that the stance that you guys came from, I think that consumerism, and especially I think I said this a million times today, but the standpoint of kids are just kind of, sometimes they're uneducated and they don't realize just how much. I think the example online was how much a laptop cost, and it's just not something you think about when people just provide these things for you.
Exactly.
So I think this is a really important mission, and I hope that I can contribute in some way to it.
Thank you. I'm glad that you really appreciated that. Yeah. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the organization at this time. Obviously, you've done quite a bit of research. You know that EdAid is a nonprofit organization, so generally our mission statement is to provide materials and software to students to educate them more about conscious consumerism and things like that. We're really passionate about sustainability and about the planet, so it's what we're all about here. Additionally, the specific position that you've applied for, like I said, is the assistant to the director of social media strategy, which actually happens to be myself. So if hired, we'll be working closely together to kind of develop some campaigns and work more closely with the rest of the team to accomplish our goals. So do you have any questions specific to the position, or does that all seem clear?
No, that all seems pretty clear to me. It seems like there's going to be a big, using social media as the platform is kind of your main.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're working towards.
Yeah.
In the position. So, all right. Well, you can expect to hear about this position in about a week or so. Thank you so much for your time.
It was really nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.